What a beautiful morning on the Motherland. And today we have something special. Today we are going to be talking about the past and how we got here, what made us leave Switzerland, and what made us decide to start over again. Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be doing, like I said, a special. We're going to start a little bit at the beginning, when I met Angelo, so that you get the whole picture where we actually began from. So around 2015 I met Angelo. So I had moved to St. Gallen, that's a city in Switzerland, and I actually originally lived in Zug. So when I moved to St. Gallen, everything just backfired. Life wasn't really that, you know. There was some good parts about it, but let's just say it didn't work out. So I then finally moved back to Zug, central Switzerland, and it was kind of rough at the beginning. I started off from scratch again. I had Jimmy. Jimmy was young. He was about 2-3 years old, something like that. He was born in 2013. Yeah, so around 2 years old. So moved to Zug. Didn't know what was going on in my life. I was actually, for a short time, how should I say? I was looking for jobs and everything, trying to get back into normal life. And in that chaos, I met Angelo. And Angelo and we kicked it pretty good at the beginning. And just very shortly after, I moved in. So this is where our story picks up. I moved in. He had two little field mice. And in Africa we don't like mice or rats or anything that crawls. So when I got there, I was like, why you got mice inside your house? And wasn't very happy with it, you know, at the beginning, but then I did adapt to them and didn't really like them. And one day walking through a shop, I saw these what they called desert mice, something like that, and they looked so beautiful. So obviously bought them, started building something, and that was a side project, very important. Why these mice play a role. So from that, I decided the mice thing was going and building houses for them and you know, things like that, small little projects. And on the other hand, I decided to make my own business and as a dog whisperer, and that went out kind of well at the beginning. And then due to my injuries in 2013, I had a car accident and dislocated my shoulder, and kept him for a few years. And then after that, I did have extreme problems with it. It came out altogether about 16 or 18 times until now. And so dealing with big dogs wasn't really gonna work anymore, because if they're pulled and what and everything, and people were kind of misunderstanding what a dog whisperer does. So I actually then left the business due to health reasons, and also got bored of it because people wouldn't really respect what you were doing. And then carried on like that, and then I decided to change. I actually went to the shop, and I wanted to get dog food, and I saw this aquarium there, and it was going cheap, and I was like, why don't we just get this for the mice, you know? And then we bought it because it was a little bit deeper than the other one that we had. So we bought it, and it got home, and I looked at it and I was like, I can't put mice inside this. It's so beautiful. It was a 300-liter tank, nothing special. So bought all the equipment for that tank, and a friend of mine had fish, so she was like, why don't you just get fish, and these are beautiful fish. So I was like, yeah, that could be an idea. And then finally warmed up to the idea and did exactly that. So the first tank was born. I called it the Queen, and she was beautiful. So as you can see in the pictures, she was a beautiful tank, and things kicked off there. And very quickly I got very bored with that small tank. Well, not bored, but I wanted to go a little bit bigger and have experience with bigger fish, because in a 300 liter you're very limited. So then bought what was it, I think a 600 or 800 liter tank, something like that, and was very excited. Bought it second hand. I don't know, I think we didn't even pay for that tank. I think we got that tank even for free, if I'm not mistaken. No, sorry, we paid for that tank. That tank we paid 300 for, and then put it up with its decoration and current fish that were inside, and slowly started changing that. This was, which I didn't know at that time, a beginning of a new hobby, new company, and I didn't know I was going to get so into the fish. And then I got to a point where two tanks weren't enough. So then came the third tank, then came the fourth tank, and then there were 5. At that point, we had a critical situation with our neighbors, because at that point Jimmy was alone first, and we had then got a pit bull that was actually a very problematic dog. So came to us, I trained him, and things started working out. So I asked the owner, like, you know, you're not the type of person for this dog, and it's not going to really work out. So from there, after long back and forth, then I decided, okay, let me take that dog, which he then agreed on. So I took Lucky, changed his name to Jackie. So Jackie came into our lives, and this was at the moment where LA Dog Care kicked off, and Jimmy was actually my therapy dog. I had a company before which I would train dogs in St. Gallen. That was the city I had moved back to Canton Zug. I don't know if I said that right. So that was the city I had moved to before I moved back to Canton Zug. I think that's the correct way. And there I had Leon's training courses, so I would train people and their dogs, and that went out fine. That's why I decided to go bigger. And Jackie then came into our lives, and it was a special moment. Angela was so happy, you know, things like that. And from there, we had some problems with Jackie. He would then bark. He would bark if you'd make noise outside, you know. And the thing was, we had a mean neighbor. So every time we would leave, he didn't like the dogs. So every time we would leave, he would go bang on the door. And crazy. He would go bang on the door, and then Jackie started barking and going crazy, which is normal. A dog does that if you go banging on people's doors. So I found the story all fishy and stuff. So I said to Angelo, you know what, let's get cameras and let's find out what's going on, because he was complaining. And he kept telling us that your dog barks through when you're gone and what and what and what. So we put cameras up, and everything was quiet until the day he came banging on the door. And then on that same evening, he came to complain that the dogs were barking. So it was kind of a weird situation with this neighbor. Anyway, after long back and forth and discussions and fights, he informed the landlord, and we got evicted. Even though, because he had proof, he went to he bang on the door, and then he would film how the dog is barking. which the banging wasn't filmed, but he would film how the dog was barking, and then he would go to the landlord and show that to the landlord. So by the time we got that to that point, we were like, okay, it's not going to bring anything. The situation was so far out, the landlord wasn't really interested anymore, and so we moved. From there, we moved to Allenwinden, that's in Canton Zug, so still in the same place. So we moved to Allenwinden, and that was a beautiful place. I mean, beautiful apartment. It had its garden and everything, and that's where life started settling in a little bit. You know, things started getting calmer. Working, we both had jobs and everything. Life was good, you know, and due to my accident, and I was working in transport business, so there was a kind of a bit of heavy lifting involved, and I would get pain in my neck from the accident. So due to sitting long or sitting in one position, all these kind of funny things would happen. So it got to the point where it escalated. I couldn't work anymore. So I had so much pain. It was a rough way. Anyway, it put me in bed for 4 years. Couldn't really do anything anymore. So stopped working. I actually then got money from the insurance. Let's just put it like that. So I got 80% of my loan from the insurance. Was sick, so this went on for quite a few years. Went to the doctors. Doctors told me I'm going mad. So yeah, it was a rough time. Nobody believed me because there was nothing to see, and once people don't see physical something, they don't believe that the pain exists so long. So it was hard. So finally, after 4 years back and forth, I couldn't work anymore properly. So I decided, I gotta do something, So I then started creating the fish house. I said I'm gonna be a breeder, and it was a very special moment for me because I then brought in tanks and tanks and tanks. So we had, if I remember correctly, we had about 40 something tanks, something like that. About 11,000 liters in that apartment, and it kept growing. So at the beginning it was a hobby, and I just wanted to feel that experience, what it's like to see the fish breed and the different colors, the behavior and everything. So it was an interesting experience just to be in it, and I definitely enjoyed that experience and would do it again. Maybe no longer in that size, but would definitely have another tank. Once the house is built, it will definitely have another tank or two. So we dedicated one room. It was a two 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment. So we dedicated one room to the fish house, and that became massive. So it was quite known on Facebook and everything. And at the beginning, I really enjoyed it, you know, going into nature, picking up your sticks, logs, stones, then washing them clean and bringing them into the tank and making this beautiful. It was something special, you know. It was really not just, I did go and buy decorations, but it was not just only that. So anyway, the fish house was born, and we really enjoyed that. And that was like kind of a project in between. So I then realized that a fish house is not really kicking off, and I couldn't maintain it anymore. It was just too much work. I mean, it was a 6 to 8 hour shift just getting those tanks clean, and I had to have very crystal clear water. So once my tanks got a little bit, I'm already cleaning. So once a week my tanks will get cleaned out, sometimes twice a week.
12 plus things at the back. So I think if I do it quick and nicely, I think I could finish all of them.
You think so?
Yeah.
So how long you think you're gonna need for that?
Like, if I do it nice and quick, I think like all of them, maybe 20 to 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes?
Or maybe even an hour if I have to do all of these.
Okay, so...
And because I had cichlids, Malawian cichlids, Malawian barsh, they were very tolerant. Not all of them were Malawian barsh. I did have different types of fish. So I had American cichlids, I had discus, and so people who understand about fish, there were all types of fish in this whole thing, but the main breeding was actually cichlids. So after all of this fish stuff, I then decided, look, I wanted to start selling, and there came a time where just people started damaging the market. They started selling beautiful fish for very cheap, and it just didn't make sense to me anymore to continue. And everyone wanted the lowest price, and I was bringing high quality fish, and you know, everyone was impressed, but they didn't want to pay the money. So it was always like that. So in the end I said, you know what, I enjoyed this experience, but it's time to cut down. So the fish house had to go. So this is what happened. Fish house went. We turned that into the main room, and it stayed like that for quite a while. And after that, I woke up one morning and I was like, I want a tank in a wall. I want, you know, the wall and the tank inside the wall, that you only see the tank and the wall, you know, the front part, not the whole tank. So I came up to Angelo with my idea, and he was like, yeah, no, I don't think we're going to be doing that. So, and because our apartment was rented, you don't normally do things like that. So I actually got to the point one day I didn't care. So I woke up one morning, and after asking Angelo for quite a while, let's do this project, there was always no. So one day I went out and I just decided to start the project. So the first thing is we had got a tank, right? And he didn't know where the tank was coming yet. So it was I said, oh no, I just need another tank, you know, I need a big tank, because we had what was left. I think it was about, from 40 tanks it went down to 6 tanks. So I have 5 in the living room, 1 2 3 4 in the living room, 4 in the living room, 1 in the changing room, wardrobe room, walk-in closet, So there was one inside there, and then in our room, the master bedroom, there wasn't one. So altogether, what, 5 tanks, and then the 6th tank came. So I said, we had a saltwater aquarium. So to that saltwater aquarium is actually a very beautiful story. That saltwater aquarium was, Angelo was dying for one. So we only had fresh water. And he was always dying for one, and he wanted one. And I said, look, Angelo, they're kind of expensive, and if it goes flop, it just costs a lot of money. So the answer was no. And this was before I built the rooms. I just jumped a little bit too far. So before we renovated the room, it just became a normal room. Angelo wanted a saltwater tank. So on that occasion, I then said, look, we're not having that. So 3 years went by, and one day he came and he just really wanted that tank. So he had little tears in his eyes, and he says, look, I found a tank. It's not that expensive, because I always told him it's expensive. He said, it's not that expensive. It's a 60-liter tank, and it's fully equipped. It's got fish and everything, coral and everything. I just have to pick it up. And I said to him, yeah, well, it's not that easy. I mean, the smaller the tank is as a beginner, the harder it is, especially if you're going into salt water. So I said, look, if you're going to do it, and this time I decided, okay, he really wants it, so let's do it, right? So I said, give me some time, and I will find a tank for you. And this 60-liter tank was going for 300 Swiss francs. So I was like, okay. So I went out, searched, took me a few weeks, something like that, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And then I actually found a tank online for 300, and it was 1,100, 200 liters. And I said, okay, let's do it. So we rented a bus, went to go pick up the tank, almost died carrying that tank. It was bloody heavy. Yeah, that tank almost dropped on my foot, on my leg. But we did manage, only us two. We brought that tank in, put it up, and it just looked awful at the beginning. So he was so excited. He was like a little child. He was so happy for this old tank, and it was a very expensive tank that time, but it had gotten into the years, and it needed a little bit love. So and the owner was like, no, I can't, I don't want, I'm moving out, don't have the space anymore, right? And that's how we got the tank so cheap. So brought it up, put it up. It was looking ugly as hell. Put it up with the stones that we had got, so it wasn't that much. He had already sold everything else. So then started putting this tank up, and Angelo really loved this tank to bits and pieces. And started investing it, and then I said, no, this tank gotta look different. Everything in the apartment is white and black and looking good, and this is just out of order, out of place. So we then did restore the tank and put reinforcements on it, what, because it was making funny noises, like cracking noises and stuff. So we put reinforcements on it. We took the silicone off, put new silicone on, and then put metal frames, aluminium frames on the borders, so that it holds better together. And the tank was born. So to my end of the story, Angelo finally got his tank, and I didn't get mine. Well, I wasn't wanting one yet at that point. But then came the time that I did want. Woke up one morning, and like I said, the tank we had already got. It was standing, waiting, ready, in the middle of the passage. So what happened was I woke up one morning and I was like, you know what, bugger this guy. He's not going with my plans. So I'm going to do my own plan. So I told him, get ready, we're going to the shop. And he's like, oh, what are we going to buy? And I said, you'll see when we get there. And I'm starting a new project. So since months had passed since our last discussion, he had forgot all about this aquarium. And get into the shop, and I'm finally like start picking out things, and I'm like this and this and this. So you didn't really quite get it what was going on, because it was wood, there was paint and stuff like that. So you thought I was just gonna maybe building something, or yeah, you didn't know what was gonna hit him. So finally, I then started building the aquarium, my wall aquarium, and it was such an amazing journey doing that and experience. And everyone that came first thought, oh, is that a real wall? But let the pictures speak for themselves.
Come on, where's our fail?
No fail.
So no fail, no clicks.
No fail.
No fail, no funny.
No funny, no money. Hey! Oh, das ist ja kalt! Oh! Baby!
I'm so upset.
Die Sonne ist jetzt da.
Oh.
Hey, bis ich da drin bin. Nein, nein!
I just really got fail.
Aber es ist eine starke Strömung. Wer kommt mich denn rausholen?
Ja, komm mal schon.
Ja, jetzt war die Knurre, ich muss da weg.
So all of this happened, and in that time I said, look, I'm feeling a little bit better, let's start a new business. So I then decided I'm going to start polishing, because I did polish courses, so polishing cars. So I thought, okay, you know what, let's do that. So I started in our garage, in our parking, where it's a shared garage. So garage, and the neighbor didn't really like it. So he's like, oh, my car is getting dirty from all the dust, from the polish dust, and what, which I can understand. So at that moment, I said to Angela, look, I would like to continue with this and see where this leads, you know. So I started polishing my own cars first, and then moved that, and then started working. No, sorry. Where Angelo was working, his boss had a spare room, so I was like, you know, doesn't he have like a spare garage where I could do something, or a spare room where I can drive in and make my own little something? I said it doesn't matter even if it's small. And then he went to go and ask his boss, and there was a room. So this room was, yeah, it was just a garage. There was nothing. There was machines inside it, and that was it. And so then the floor was all, you know, not flat and not ready for what we were doing. So straightened out the floor, sanded that down, and put a paint coat on it, put a paint coat everywhere, put some ice insulation inside. So on the one side we put insulation on the walls, on the other side we just painted the walls, and that then turned into our little workshop. And we were always handy, we always did our things, most of the things on the cars ourselves. There are things that we didn't do, but there's quite a bit of things that we did do on our cars. And my uncle is a mechanic, so he obviously, when we didn't know what to do, we give him a call. Like, what are we gonna do? We opened the car. What are we gonna do? So we always had a way out, and then we did small businesses helping people fix things, ordering parts and whatever, but nothing big. The main thing was actually polishing and for us to have a place to work on our cars.
Darfst dich ruhig bewegen.